So look, I've been using the Z Fold 8 with no case for a whole month now. And in this video, I'm gonna go over all my experiences, all the good things, everything that changed, and all of the ugly experiences too. So let's start with the first week of ownership, because that was literally the most insane period for me. And look, I'm gonna spoil this entire video right now. So if you don't wanna watch the whole thing, I get it. I'm just gonna spoil it right now. The moral of my story is, y'all ever meet someone new and you hate them? Hate's a strong word, like you wanted to push them in front of a bus, but eventually they become like your best friend. Bro, this is that phone. Because in my first week, I'm talking like the moment this phone was caressed in my hands, I hated it. I was complaining about the edges jutting out too much and the fact that the front glass is actually warped, but bro, it only got worse. Because when I actually started to use this outer display, I had glitches and bugs where apps would open in different aspect ratios every time I refreshed the app. Chrome, I don't know if you've heard of it, it was barely optimized at all for this display, and the keyboard was colonizing half the damn display every time it opened. And because I've been using the Z Flips, which are tiny and narrow, this fat, obese screen forced me to use two hands to get anything done. So my first week was just full of regret, intensified by the fact that I had taken out a mortgage to afford a phone that I wasn't having any fun using. I had to use two hands to get anything done. I would feel the heat of battle radiating from this back end every time I played any game. And every time I wanted to watch content, I had to contend with some massive bars, and one of the biggest problems of them all, like the one single factor that made my heart sink. We're still in the first week, by the way. I had made myself a bowl of bulldog ramen, sat myself down, and got ready for a date with my thoughts. I folded my fold into the laptop mode we all know and love to watch some content while I ate. Like, that's a pretty reasonable angle, right? Like, hey, I wanna eat my ramen.
Wow.
And I noticed at that time, there was no flex mode, but surely I was tweaking, right? There's no way Samsung Hyung removed flex mode from a $2,000 phone meant to be a productivity device. Like, maybe for some of y'all, flex mode doesn't matter, but for me, it is my most used format when I'm using this inner display. Every time I'm eating anything, right? I have YouTube playing on the top half and I'm doom scrolling TikTok or IG on the bottom half. So I eat, I watch, I brain rot, I can do it all without any friction. Not anymore. This phone did not stay in the laptop mode. It was either fully shut or fully closed. Now guys, there's some pedestrians in my comments, and by the way guys, I love all of y'all fam. I'm absolutely joking about this, but one absolute pedestrian said, everyone just remember, this isn't a flagship. It's a Fold, not Ultra. It's $2,000. What do you mean relax, bro? Do you not understand the fact that I've taken out a mortgage to afford this phone? I had to cut my ramen supply in half to afford the payment. So week one ended like that, one of my most overwhelming senses of buyer's remorse I've ever felt in my life. I went so far as to reach out to Samsung Hyung's goons on the website, and I told them all of my issues, and they offered me a $50 refund. Bro, I was so down that I wasn't even excited about getting a light 50 back, because any other day I would have celebrated. Then week two begins, and a lot of things changed quickly. First of all, some of those glitches in apps and notification glitches also got resolved. I remember going to sleep one night and meeting Lee Jae-hyung in my dreams, and I told him about all my problems. And I also asked him why I wasn't invited to Samsung Unpacked. Then he slapped me and I woke up. I also came across split screen optimization in GoodLog that made it so that when I did split screen mode, the phone shrunk the content of the app so I could see more of any app inside the split screen. Also, I just made a whole video going over some of the best features on the Fold 8, so definitely check that out. It's here or here. But this meant that finally I was actually able to see more content on the display than compared to like a regular slab device. Now when I go on runs or walks, I can have YouTube playing on the top with Google Maps on the bottom and actually be able to see a lot more of the map itself, so I know where I'm going. But that's not even the biggest change in week two. The biggest change and revelation in week two of usage, ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness, this hinge was loosening, and that was actually a good thing, because people, let me introduce y'all to something. To laptop mode. Finally! I don't mean this hard 90-degree angle, because if you go even like a micrometer, like guys, watch. Oh, that didn't work. Yeah, it's gonna pop open if you go even a little bit too far. So that hard 90 is where it's at. But that's not all. I also found a few flex mode hacks, and the most important one was that cursor that I talked about before in my previous video, because now, as long as I kept this near 90-degree angle, I could multitask with a cursor and much more easily navigate in the multi-window with much less friction. Bro, I was multitasking, moving things around in the YouTube tab, and also simultaneously working on the bottom app as well with my fingers. So cursor up here, fingers down here, that way I don't have to push this back each time I tap it and it never pops open. I was checking my notifications without tipping the phone over, and right then I had the audacity to think that perhaps this phone was better than the Fold Ultra, because look, one more thing. This display is boxier. The Fold Ultra has a narrower display, so you get bigger bars on the side. But when you're watching content, and that's what I use this phone a lot for, this top half actually feels a lot better, and you actually get to watch more of the content. Content on this looks better than it does on the Ultra. I said it. But there was one more hack that I learned in about my second week that changed the game. I was now able to do literally everything I wanted to do on this cover screen with one hand. I admit, okay, my fingers after like the first 2 weeks were getting used to, you know, stretching all the way. So I was getting used to that. But one of the main things I couldn't do was pull down the quick menu, which you have to reach all the way to this corner, right? But watch this. Quick menu. Or for taking screenshots, you gotta stretch your fingers all the way to the end like this, right? And then hold it down. But now I can take screenshots by giving the phone 2 back shots, and it takes a screenshot just like that. Week 2 was all about optimizing this phone for me, and I had the audacity, like I said, I started to think that perhaps this phone was possibly even better than the Ultra, but oh my goodness, was I wrong? Because then we begin week 3. Now, before I go over the fiasco that was week 3, how about a subscribiste, fam? It really seriously helps grow a channel like this one, and I really do appreciate every single one of you. Also, check out the IG at Chilled Fossil, because we're building a gaming PC, okay? It's kind of cool. And if you want free wallpapers, all you gotta do is follow and DM ZFold8. That's it. Free wallpapers for everybody. Okay, guys, look, week 3, I'm gonna put my sword down. Week 3 is the week where I began seriously comparing this phone with other devices, because the honeymoon phase was over. And the first thing that happened, I stopped using this phone to take pictures. Like, guys, I tried hard to get this phone to take competent photos. And I did all kinds of camera hacks. I went into camera assistant on Good Log. Nothing worked, okay? The camera, it just sucks. Now, for casual users, don't sweat it. The camera is fine. But it is a $2,000 phone. And a $500 Pixel 9a is more competent in some aspects of photography. So my point is, this was not my camera phone, okay? And when I needed to take photos or videos or pictures, especially for content and stuff like this, I'm using the iPhone 17 Pro, which is literally like half the price of this. And also, I go running nowadays. I'm trying to get snatched for the winter, obviously. But when I do go running, I'm not taking this with me. I'm taking the Flip 8 every single time. Now, the Fold 8 is portable, don't get me wrong, and it is a lot more portable in my experience than the brick phones. I'm talking the Ultras and the 17 Pro Maxes. But even still, this won't even compare to the portability that is granted to you by the Flips. So, when I do go on a run, I'm taking the Flip. When I go on a late night grocery run with my no pocket pajamas at the Square One Walmart, I'm taking the Flip. When I go play basketball, or whatever the neighborhood moms want to play, you guessed it. So by week 3, I was just coming into these routines and cementing rules for the different phones, and the single rule that I gave to this phone. And this phone just blows the others out in this one specific aspect. Home use. That's weird. Home focused usage. Whenever I'm at home, I'm on the Fold. When I'm eating, like I said, I use this in laptop mode the entire time. When I'm working at my desk, guess what? It's in laptop mode. Again, just chilling there and sending me notifications like video comments, new messages on WhatsApp, email notifications. It's the perfect sidekick. And a lot of those emails have contracts I've got to sign, right? You know, we're securing the bag, as it were. Shout out to the sponsor of today's video. JK, guys, relax, no sponsor. But it's just so nice reading PDFs and contracts on this massive inner display in this form factor, and it also makes it easier to sign documents as well. And how can I forget? I didn't forget, obviously. I'm so busy these days because I'm trying to go full-time here on YouTube that all day it's just working. It's either research, editing, or ideation, or filming. And by the time I slip into bed, I have this habit, I don't know if it's weird, but like I open the inner display, right? And I check on a few live cams. Guys, comment big fish. Okay, no one explain it, okay? But comment big fish if you do this too. Like, I'll check the Tokyo live cam, make sure everything's good in Tokyo. Then I'll check the Seoul live cam, make sure everything's good there, traffic's moving. Then I'll check the New York live cams and make sure the bodegas are secure. Like, I have this habit, right? And then I'll go to sleep. But my point is that content consumption on this, even with the egregious bar sometimes, is a really excellent experience. The display is big, the colors are absolutely gorgeous, the crease is barely even noticeable, and it's super lightweight. Now, in my last videos, I mentioned something about heating and that it was one of the biggest problems with this phone. Well, something happened in week 4. Literally, this past week changed everything. This battery got ultra optimized. Bro, look, I never had an issue with the battery life on this phone. Okay, we're talking 4,800 milliamp hours squeezed out of a carbon silicon battery. It was perfectly fine for me. And the charging speeds on this phone are one of my favorite features because it seriously charges so fast, but it used to heat up like crazy. That's right, it used to. This is the setup. Okay, this is how I always, every time I'm eating food, flex or like, you know, makeshift flex mode. I got YouTube playing, top half. See, it flipped open. You can't move it. That's why that cursor that comes in, yo, it's clean. Anyways, I got YouTube playing on the top half. Gotta get the angle right. There it is. And I've got Chrome open on the bottom half for some reason, but I'm gonna change that because I need my Gmail open. So that's 1 month with the most hyped phone of 2026. So how do I feel about it? I can say I've fallen in love with a foldable again. Even though we started off on a bumpy ride, right? Over time, optimizations that came from Samsung, and obviously my own hacks and optimizations that we went over in this video and in my previous video, have made this phone an absolute pleasure to use in almost every experience, except for when you're trying to take pictures, obviously. But for watching content, for getting work done, for like that productivity edge as well, because it has not only the best chip possible, but also an incredible battery. Like, the battery is actually, even though 4,800 milliamp hours for a $2,000 phone isn't a competitive battery, because it charges up so fast, like noticeably faster than even the Flip, this makes it like a very usable device, especially if you are thinking about doing productivity and stuff like that. So me personally, I've been enjoying this phone. Do I think it is the best phone of 2026 so far? You gotta savor the flavor. Yes. Okay, but wait. While it is the best phone, I think like if everyone had access to this phone in the same way they have access to the Z Flip 7, like, what I'm saying is, if the prices were quite similar, I think you should hands down go for the Z Fold 8. And I say that also because the prices are going down. In my description, I've linked an Amazon link that will show you the most discounted price. Sometimes it might not even work, it might be out of stock, but as soon as things come back into stock, that will be the cheapest price. I did that for the Z Flip 7 because you can get the 7 now for $600 and the Z Fold 7 now for close to $1,000. Like, close, or even $800 is possible. You're just playing a little bit of a game with the quality, the build quality, or the condition. But my point is this: if you're thinking about buying the Z Flip 7, or you're thinking about buying any other phone, but you really want this, and the only thing keeping you away from this phone is the price, then wait if you can, because this will tank. The prices will be tanking, ladies and gentlemen. It always tanks. With tech, all the prices tank every time. You just gotta be a little bit more patient, okay? But hey, do I think it's worth waiting for this phone? Absolutely. I am seriously enjoying it in almost every aspect of my life. And I've shared some of those with you guys today as well. For $2,000 though, get real. I'm not buying this for $2,000. If I had $2,000, I'll go get the Z Flip. If I have to get a foldable, I'll get the Flip, or I'll get last year's Z Fold and like pocket the $1,000 that are left, right? You know, I can buy ramen with that, right? So I can have ramen with my nuggets. Like, I'm not paying $2,000 for this. And I know some of y'all, got plans and stuff like that with the carriers. Hey, knock yourself out. But if you ever have to go $2,000 out of pocket like I had to for this because I make content, I would not recommend it, okay? Wait for the prices to tank. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one though. Get some rest.